restrictions. The main restriction that's different than any other field player, you had Alyssa talking about subbing on the fly. Goalkeepers cannot sub on the fly, so it does have to be a dead ball, and you do have to allow them to sub during a dead ball. You hold up play, just keep your hand up like this, tell them they can switch, and then blow the whistle back, blow the play back into play. And the other restriction for goalkeepers is, well, nobody can slide at all. There's no sliding whatsoever, but goalkeepers are allowed to dive. Now, a dive and a slide are inherently different. So what a dive is going to look like, it's where, first of all, they're going to be going for it with their hands, and they're going to kind of kick their legs out and land on their hip. So it's going to be kind of like that, and then I'm not going to do it, but you kind of land on your hip, you're going for the ball, and there's going to be very little momentum. Now, if a player leaves their feet going for the ball with their hands and they gain significant momentum, so the ball's right there and I'm going like this and I get on my knees and I'm sliding, that is when it becomes a slide and not a dive, and that's when it's illegal. As far as dives go, you cannot dive feet first. So if you see a goalkeeper go feet first, 99% of the time it's going to be a slide, and we're going to have to call that, and that's going to be a penalty if it's in the arc. Any questions on the difference between diving and sliding? So the main thing is, the dives you're going to see, for the most part, are going to be horizontal with the goal line. They're just going to go like this or like this. When you see them in the practice game and you see them throughout the regular season, they're pretty obvious. The biggest marker to determine the difference is if there's momentum. If there's significant momentum, then they slid, because that's what sliding is. It's you're leaving your feet and you're moving towards, you're out of control, and that's how players get hurt. That's how contact happens. And as you know, if it's a slide with contact, that's an automatic red card. Slide no contact, it's a yellow. And obviously if those occur in the box, it's a penalty kick. So any questions on that? The last goalkeeper restriction I need to go over is an intentional pass back to the keeper by the same team as the keeper. You can do that, that's legal, you can pass it back, but if it's passed back to me, I'm the keeper, I cannot pick it up. When that happens, you're going to blow it dead, and it's going to be an indirect free kick from that spot. So if this is the goal line and it's kicked back to me and I pick it up right here, you're going to take the kick right there. It's indirect, so they can't kick it straight into the goal, but that's where they're going to be able to take it. Any questions on that? And as far as intentional passbacks, they're pretty obvious. Like if the ball's on the ground, that's obviously intentional. Now, if the ball's bouncing and I'm trying to control it and I just kind of go like that, and I'm obviously trying to kick it this way, and the keeper picks it up, that's not intentional, right? So for the most part, the ball's going to be completely on the ground. It's going to roll backwards. You're going to be able to tell the difference. Now, if I'm trying to pass it back and a defender comes in and toe pokes it, and you think there's a deflection, give them the benefit of the doubt and let the keeper pick that up. We're not going to call it if you think the other team kicked it. Any questions on that? All right, so Alyssa. Next thing we're talking about is obstruction versus shielding. So Andy touched on it a little bit. Obstruction is illegal, it's a foul, and the obstruction is only going to be on the offensive player, the player that's in possession of the ball. So the obstruction is going to be if she's coming for the ball and the ball's going this way, but my body's going this way, and I'm protecting the ball, but I'm not making a play on the ball. That is different versus shielding, where she's coming at me and I'm making a play on the ball. I'm still using my body, but I'm playing the ball. So obstruction is basically really easy to notice. If the ball's going that way and my movement is this way, that's a foul every time. That's obstruction. If you are a fan of professional soccer, they never call it, like, ever, but it is in the rules. It is something that you will call because it will happen out here. But shielding is pretty much, shielding is when you have your foot on the ball, you're making a play on the ball. Any questions on that? Okay, and then the last thing I'm going to go over is what designates a handball. So there's 3 criteria that goes into calling a handball or not. It's your position of the hand, it's the influence of the play, and it's reaction time. So if the ball's right here, I'm the defender, and they kick it, and I'm like right here, and they kick it straight up in my hand, I don't have that much reaction time. So if I don't influence the play and it glances my hand and I have no time whatsoever to move my hand away, you can yell play on, play, because they're going to stop. Most of the players are going to, if they think it touches the hand, they think it's automatic handball. But if I have no influence on the play and I wasn't able to bring my hand back in or move it, you're not going to call a handball. But on the same note, if it influences the play, so if the ball's going this way and it's right here and the ball's no longer going this way because of my hand, that influences the play, you can call a handball on that. So a lot of times what you're going to see that players are going to want you to call is if my hand's right here and the ball does that, they're like, it touched my hand, it touched the hand, it touched the hand, oh, it's a handball. My hand's down here, it's not way outside my body. I didn't have the reaction time to move my hand, and if my hand wasn't there, it was still going to hit my leg, so it wouldn't be influencing the play that much. That's opposed to if my hand's right here, it's coming at me and I go like that, then I moved my hand and I influenced the play. Any questions about handballs? And one thing that I would recommend you guys doing is if it's like close and it hit my hand like this, you don't think it's a handball, yell play, be like play on, play, because players are going to stop them and be like, that's a handball, that's a handball. But you got to tell them, you got to encourage them to keep playing. Talking about playing on, an intentional handball or a handball that does influence the play, that is a regular foul, so you can give an advantage on that. So if even if I did this and I swatted it, but it helps the other team out and they go and score, you're not going to want to blow that play dead. Now, if they don't get any advantage out of that, then you would obviously bring it back. We'll also talk about intentional handballs as well. If it's a blatant intentional handball, at the very least, if it's out here in the middle of the court, at the very least, it's going to be a yellow. So like if I just slap the ball down because I'm mad, very minimum it's going to be a yellow because that's intentional. You're stopping the flow of the game, and we just got to shut that down. Now, if there's a handball in the box or on that side of the court close to the goal, that's going to be denying a goal scoring opportunity, and at any level of soccer, that's going to be an automatic red. I've only given that out once, and it was actually on the keeper, and they were just out of the keeper zone, swatted the ball away, saved the potential goal, so it was a red card. Not because it was an illegal handball in the sense the keeper can't touch it with his hands. It was just out of the keeper zone, and it was denied a goal scoring opportunity. Any questions on handballs?
Yeah. What if it's an unintentional block? Do you call that?
Does it influence the play?
No.
Okay, then I wouldn't call it. So if it influences the play, it's in the box, penalty. But I would voice that and be like, play on, because they're gonna be livid. Like if my hand's right here and it touches my pinky, they're gonna be like, penalty, penalty, penalty. But you think about reaction time, you think about influence on the play, and you think about position of my hand. Now, if my hand's out here, it's unintentional, and I don't have any reaction time, my hand's still really far out here, you still would probably give the penalty, just because you shouldn't have your arms that far out. And that's when things like that happen. Any other questions? All right, I think that's all we have. So we can, if you guys want to grab your stuff, and we're going to head upstairs to